reaching double figures.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So fine. Maybe if all is set, we'll start the proceedings with the student. Muskan is here. Hello, Muskan. Muskan.
So Gauri will be starting with the introduction.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Who is going to start? Let us begin. Okay. Okay. So
Gauri,
let
you
Gauri
can
begin.
go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
we are
sir.
starting. We are being recorded. Okay. And then Gauri will hand over to Dr. Shruti, who will take over after that. Yeah, Gauri, you can start. Introduce yourself
Good
and then
evening,
begin.
everyone. Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Gauri.
Gauri, you need to unmute yourself.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
yeah, audible.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Gauri Sontake, student of first year MBBS at SAGES MC and KEM Hospital. Uh, so I'm starting the meeting. The Dr. Manu.V.L.Kothari Chair and Division of Medical Humanities and Gosumec Alumni Association, under the patronage of Dr. Sangeeta Rawat, Dean, SAGES MC and KEM Hospital. A warm welcome you all to GOSUNION Reminiscence. I request the tech team to play the medical humanities video.
डिस्क्राइब कर रहा हूँ इसका वॉल्यूम नहीं आ रहा जीरो
As we move towards our centenary, we wanted to give a virtual platform to every batch of GS to share their fondest memories of college. It is the students' past, and present that makes a college that it is. And we did like to preserve their thoughts and emotions permanently in the form of these reminiscence. So today, so now I request the tech team to display the Gosumec Foundation PPT. Gosumec Foundation was established in California, United States, to give back to our alma mater, which has helped so many professionally and personally. The website allows you to enjoy nostalgic content, including history of our institution, medical humanities, archives, and much more. This slide shows the web address of Gosumec. At the footer of the website are links to social media accounts, including YouTube, from where you can access virtual reunions. Next slide, please. This slide shows the mission of Gosumec Foundation, which is connect, contribute with 3 T's and engage. Connect. Global Gosumec, which are alma mater. Contribute to alma mater's development by sharing the 3 T's that are time, talent, and treasure. Engage Gosuments with nostalgic media on a continued basis and enable global networking. Next slide. This slide shows how to access the Google form, which many of you may have filled already from the link which was circulated. The data from Google form. The objective of this Google form is to connect with each other and the alma mater. Gosumec Alumni Association, GAA, which is the official alumni body at say GSMC and KEM Hospital. This information will be secure between GAA and Gosumec Foundation and will later be used to create a secure, reachable database. Looking forward to Gosumec supporting our mission to connect, contribute, and engage. So today, we have the batch of 1995, and I now hand over the proceedings to Dr. Shruti ma'am.
Thank you, Gauri. You'll be happy to know, Gauri Sontake, we have a very famous batchmate of ours who shares many syllables with you. She's Gauri Sankhe. And it will be a big compliment to you to hope that you become like her someday. I think many of my batchmates will raise a toast to that. So first of all, welcome everybody. And 1 minute, I think Bhakti is here. Naveen, are you going to let everybody in? Okay, so welcome everybody. And it's actually really lovely to see so many of you. And I can see a lot of our American alumni who have woke up early in the morning in their night suits. Thank you for joining. And I have joined from, like many of you might identify, my house in Lonavala, which forms a place for fond memories for many of us. Okay, Gauri Sankhe has joined, Gauri Sontake. So our Gauri Sankhe has just joined. And so I did ask Dr. Natarajan the purpose of this, and the idea is to recap our 5 years in KEM, which is part of what many of us may want to speak on, the memories. Fortunately, we have about 10 speakers who have volunteered. So, time is not of essence. You can take more time than you wanted to. And I will not be the first, but Samir, would you like to go first? So we had put down 4 categories. Okay, one is about a memory that we have from GSMC, and that's nice. I think Shailendra wants to talk about that. We could go with that first, since the meeting is about nostalgia. Shailendra, are you here? Shailendra Ganjewar, has he joined? Okay, Naveen, let's have you go first.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, very much. Naveen, where are you?
I am in Delhi since last 5 years, and nice to join.
It's a very interesting location. Where are you joining from?
This is actually, I have come to a place called Sangeet Shyamla. It's a center where my wife and my children come for some of their classes related to art and dance and certain things. So I am here at Sangeet Shyamla. It's a center for art related activities.
Nice. It looks very colorful and interesting.
So, shall I start with some of the memories which I wanted to?
Yes, please.
Yeah, just 2 or 3 things actually very close to me. And after leaving GS also, I've been trying to pursue. First and foremost, the welcome hike, the trekking, which uh, many of us participated. We got a grand welcome from our seniors in the form of a very active hiking and trekking group in GS Medical College. So it was a monsoon season, and I think maybe 50 odd of us uh, participated in that. So that was a good icebreaker for all of us, I would say. And then during the entire course of odd 5 years which we spent there, I think I would have been on approximately 30 different hikes and these kind of small treks around Mumbai and Pune and all these. So that brings me to the second part of it, which is photography. So related to that, we were able to, go ahead with our some extracurricular activities. So doing some photography, and in the second year when we went the annual festival which we had Avishkar, during that also participating in the photography contest, trying hands at different short courses related to photography. And in between for many years I was not able to pursue with trekking and hiking, but then now after coming to Delhi last 3 years, every year I've been going on to some treks in Uttarakhand and Himachal. So uh, one interesting trek which myself and Sharang and Rohit, three of us will definitely remember, where we just 3 or 4 of us, I think Santosh Valvi was there with us or not, I don't remember correctly.
Chetan Vasekar.
Yeah, so we lost our way, and in the night we somehow spent, wondering what will happen to us with shortage of water and no place to sleep in the night. And in the morning when we got up, we in the daylight were able to see we were very close to the actual correct path which we had to take, and then we were able to reach the place and then go back also. And none of us will forget that. I think it was very interesting trek or hiking which we had in a very small group. Of course, we went on different hikes from small groups of 3 or 4 to big groups of more than 50, I guess.
Naveen, you skipped the best detail out of it, huh? That's not
You
fair.
Tell us, Sharam.
So there was such shortage of water, and we had nothing to go on, and we were not even aware that the road is anywhere in sight. So we did not micturate the whole night, with the possibility that we may have to drink it in the morning. And in the morning, when we found the way, all 4 of us stood on the hill and we happily relieved ourselves. Okay, carry on, Naveen.
One last thing I want to add, I would wish others also to contribute. The Avishkar festival which we had, and the very interesting Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia night which we were able to organize on the rooftop of our library building. So that was very memorable and interesting. So I would stop there and maybe somebody else can continue with their thoughts. Thank you so much.
Hey, Naveen, you also missed one important thing about the hikes. Do you all remember that once when we came back, and I believe it was the welcome hike, anatomy did not let us in because we had missed one of their lectures. So we had we had bunked a lecture to go to the hike. And when we came back, it was like all these people don't come to class, right? So I remember that very, very well.
So I think this is a discussion that Nihita and I had this morning. So at night for her, that the anatomy department had a penchant for discipline. And Nihita was vaguely trying to remember that did we not have classes called off for some period of time? And
I know what.
I said,
so
yeah.
that was a different one. That was like somebody had
I know,
broken the statue.
I know. No. The statue was still another event, but the blackboard where Dr. Natarajan used to so diligently write off was wiped off on a Saturday evening, not once, but twice or thrice in a row. And that's because one particular batch was being given histology in the afternoon when everybody else would get a half day. And it was the same batch which got it twice or thrice. So the suspicion was somebody from that batch has wiped it off. And so the anatomy department got very upset with us. Like the first time Sir wrote it, the second time he wrote it, the third time he said, okay, there's no classes for anyone. So we had 1 month of non-instructional teaching. And we were expected to attend dissection classes. But nobody would answer a question. Like we would reach some new layer and ask Dr. Shyam Kishore, and he would not shake his head, put his finger on his lip and walk past. And we couldn't understand what was happening. And I think Priyanka will remember, Priyanka, we had this conversation. I said, what is, and MLK, everybody has to come and, talk us into this. Why don't you all confess? And what is the big deal? And I once, whispered to Priyanka, chal, hum log jaake bolte ki humne kiya hai, big deal, they'll give us some punishment, at least classes will resume. And then we were warned that, don't you dare to do it because they will figure out eventually who's done it. And this will be like more of a crime. And of course, one of our senior batches then reassured us that this has happened to them also the previous year. I think some bench or the flap chair was broken. So they said, it's okay. After 1 month, things will settle down. And which of course they did.
Dr. Natarajan did it so well, the way he used to write the schedule. It used to amaze me how somebody can make it that well. So I was like, who would dare to wipe this off? I mean, that's so ridiculous. But yeah, I remember your board, Dr. Natarajan. Cannot forget that.
So the way you used to write it, and Bhakti, where are you? Please turn on your camera and talk, because yesterday Sir was trying to remember who Bhakti is. I said, Bhakti Gogri. He said, I want the knee name. I said, that's her maiden name. You'll figure, like, nobody can forget her. Bhaks?
Yeah, I'm right here. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night.
Certainly Alzheimer's for me. Okay. I can't recognize anybody.
I told him you're the most unlikely candidate to get Alzheimer's.
I hope you're right, man. Yeah, that would be. I have nothing to say. I'm here to listen.
Yeah, I know. That's. I mean, all American folks it's brave enough that you'll have woken up at this time. Thank you.
Shruti, the question still remains who did it, because we still haven't answered that question.
Yeah, did we figure out? Yeah, who did it?
I don't think we did. And this is the time to confess at this point. I think we'll let bygones be bygones.
I mean, but you seem to know.
Well, you seem to know more details about why and how and everything. So I don't know. I would turn the finger back at you. I will say that we're not in our night suit. We're proudly wearing our batch's t-shirt from the meeting a couple of years back.
That's incredibly enthusiastic to first wake up in the morning, then change.
And it's, of course, matching. And
Yes.
I think,
And reworded.
And I would say, I think that is probably my biggest memory of Dr. Kothari is, and we talk about this quite often, not only amongst ourselves, but also with our kids, which is the fact that he provided on the very first welcome day in the MLT auditorium a platform for Amrita and me to sing a duet together. And that sort of turned into the story of our life. So I think he truly saw something that none of us had seen yet. And that was probably the biggest thing about that man, is that he had a vision and sort of could read the tea leaves. And I think I would say, at least for Amrita and me, we're very proud to work at another institution now over the last 2 decades, which does actually have a medical humanities track, not only for admission into the medical school, but through their training programs as well. So again, it feels like, pieces eventually stay with you forever. And so I think that truly is something we remark on and observe in our lives. 2 quick things I will say I'll bring up that would be nice for consideration. I think there was one other thing that you had brought up. One of which is that as the biotech industry and the healthcare industry grows in India, there would definitely be a role for a research track, or at least some research capabilities being built into the training program for medical students. I think a systematic approach to that is quite lacking. or at least was lacking. I don't want to profess that I know how it is today. And I think many from our batches and otherwise managed to go on and do well in those tracks. Sort of being started. It would be wonderful to get some formal training at the program. And the one other thing I'll say is that also some career counseling. Many of us have branched out of pure clinical care. And that doesn't apply just to pharmaceuticals. It applies to non-clinical pathways. I think many of us who chose non-clinical pathways sort of also stumbled upon it ourselves. But I think for what we are trained to do, there are so many options. Some, even if it's just a lecture series for what awareness might be around those, would be quite useful. So those are two specific suggestions I'd have. But again, I want to come back to the memories. And I think most of who are on here, they are all here because we're still in communication literally 24 hours a day. I want to thank you all for everything that went on during the COVID years, because we really came together in a form that was not unexpected for me, but was really fantastic to see. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Amrita, I'm sure there's something you want to add.
No, listen, we were just traveling, and it was a 9-hour drive back home from our vacation. And the kids were so happy. We hummed the same song that Dr. Kothari asked us, and I think Samir put it like the best way. I never thought of dating Samir on the first day, but somehow I was brought down and forced to sing a song with him, and we still hum that song. It has special memories, and I'll say it again, KM and GS is a special place for me. And I, apart from all the way they prepare you for the real world in terms of education, I'm so glad I have beautiful friends, and I see all of you here, and a life partner that I adore and who supported me through my career with 3 beautiful kids. So I'm the happiest and the luckiest, I want to say.
Samir, you can second that.
No, I can, of course.
Okay, just interesting. I don't know how many of you know how this medical chair of humanities came up. Okay, so some of you must have heard the story from me, but it's really amazing. So there was a prayer meeting or like a remembrance meeting for Dr. Kothari. Hello, can you all hear me? Yeah, so there was a remembrance meeting for MLK in the MLT. And I was a just work. I went there because I got to know about it. And as it would happen is I landed up being seated next to RR, Dr. Ravi. And at the end of it, they asked that if everybody else came, and everyone had fantastic memories to share of Sir naturally and so much to say. They said, does anybody else want to speak? And, everyone would talk about how Sir was and, how much he'd be missed and stuff like that, and how he had helped them in their life. And at that point of time, RR being RR, got up, walked in his usual fashion, stern, totally staunch in his views, says that if there is anything that you want to do in the memory of this man, then do it today. And I propose you launch a chair of medical humanities in his memory, because that is the best way to commemorate what he stood for. And I was just, blown off my feet. I came back home. So my husband is from Delhi, and he had the fortune of being at Seven Hills for some time. And a lot of KEM alumni were initially at Seven Hills. So he and RR have, hit off very well. So I came back and I told him that nobody can think the way RR can. After that, RR went through an acute illness, but his suggestions saw the light of the day. And every time I see these Saturday programs coming up and they have some amazing stuff, I feel that, how somebody can move a condolence meeting or a prayer, remembrance meeting in such a positive direction, which is so befitting of what MLK was. I mean, to just be there in a hall full, be teary-eyed and share his memories was one thing, but to have his memory live on for years like this and institute a chair of humanities and, like Samir said, really impact medical education was something else. And we owe it to the way KEM is. And you know that, I don't know, once MLK dragged one of us by the hand and took us behind and showed us that picture of KEM in the anatomy department, which said, you are here not to worship what is known, but to question. So this whole concept of thinking out of the box, saying what you feel and speaking your mind. I think I'm pulled up a lot for that, but probably a lot of it was originated in KEM. Okay, Sujata had said she wants to speak. Shall we have Sujata next? Sujata Marathe, she's looking very pretty. She's...
Everyone, am I audible?
Yes, Sujata, you're looking lovely in a sari.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, everyone out there. And there are so many memories about KM. It's really difficult to tell about one. But I like the very idea of having mentors, professor mentor, and senior student as our mentor on in our first year. And like I was really afraid about ragging and all those things, but the way I had got Dr. Zogekar as my mentor, and I used to, like any silly question, I used to go and ask her, and she helped me as a mother. And that was really like a state of memory that I have about the KM. And the suggestions that I would like to give in the college, since my children are studying in engineering college, they are into IIT and NIT. So having seen those campuses, I saw like how like our medical colleges lag behind in giving facilities to our students. So having things like basic 24/7 gymnasium or yoga room in medical colleges, that I would like to pick. Engineering colleges, they have Olympic level of indoor and outdoor sports facilities. So those things can be implemented in our medical college. And apart from that, I don't know if library facility is available for alumni. Is it available, Shruti?
Hello.
So,
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Library is certainly available for alumni.
And
100%.
is it 24/7? Like,
It is 24/7 for students.
okay, okay.
Okay, there's a small segment of it. But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm done.
Thanks, Sujata. So we had Shailendra also who had volunteered to speak. And Shailendra, are you here? Whenever he joins, but meanwhile, the rest of you are most welcome to add anything or recap memories from KEM days. If I keep speaking, I won't stop. So I think I'll just be silent for some time and give somebody.
So I wanted to say this memory, and I've carried it along the years. When we first joined KEM, I think we used to all get in the room, and not KEM, but when admissions for BMC, right? You go to each dean and say which school you want to join, right? Was that how it was? So I went to Dr. Pai and I said, okay, KEM. And the only question she asked me is, what is the meaning of your name? And I was like, I had absolutely no idea. I said, I'm sorry, I don't know. I was like, oh, shoot. The first question the dean of the medical school that you want to get in asks, and you don't know. Anyway, then I asked I mentioned it to Dr. Kothari once, and then he found out, and he said the meaning is, it means subtle. I have no idea. That time I was by no means subtle. Maybe along the way I became subtle. So I think eventually I did become subtle, but Dr. Kothari was the one that found out the meaning of my name. And I was like, thank you, sir, because even my parents didn't know why I was named Nihita. And it's a very unusual name. So every time somebody would ask me,
Nihita? Who gave you that name?
Well, so I asked my dad. Of course, my mom is no longer around. So my dad thinks that there was a story in a newspaper, and it was about a little girl, and they liked the story or something, and she was called Nita, so they said, okay, we'll name her Nita. I don't entirely believe it, but somehow it is the most unusual name. I've never met another person by the same name up till now. On Google search, I've found a couple of people, but I always say that Dr. Kothari was the one. So along the years, people have asked me, what does your name mean? And I'm like, yes, this is why I know the name. I mean, I know the meaning, and I have to thank Dr. Kothari amongst all the other beautiful memories. But this was very personal to me. So I really wanted to share that.
Can I add something here, if you don't mind?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah, see, because I guess you're familiar with the English word nihilistic.
Yes.
Okay. Nihilistic. It is a sense of nothingness also. Meaning subtle, you try to match it. Subtle is there and not there. Something along those lines. If you try to expand the word subtle, so nihilistic. So ultimately, in a very broad philosophical sense, it's a sense of nothingness.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, you're right. Thank you for sharing that, because people that knew me then, they're like, oh my gosh, my other word in residency was stormy. And I was like, okay, well, I'm far from it now, but I think I grew into that name now. So, but thank you.
So actually, I almost thought you will say that I asked Dr. Natarajan, but yeah, I know at that point of, for derivation of a word.
That's it. First answer is no, I don't know. Like, how stupid would I be? Like.
So
and I have I can add something more.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. See, in fact, by saying no, you lived up to your name. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I was honest. I said, I'm sorry, I don't know.
In English is such a language that you can add a K and W on either side, which are silent, and you know it, and you are subtle and nihilistic also. Okay,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I shared this, because this gives me even more perspectives on it.
Thanks, Neeta. So I have another first day memory to share, and not from KEM, but when I left KEM. So when I went to AIMS, we were supposed to go and introduce ourselves to the head of department, and the head of department there was a very well-known figure in medicine called Dr. Jitendranath Pandey, J.N. Pandey. He expired a few years ago in the pandemic. When I went in, so there were people obviously ranked above me who had gone in and from all over India. When I went to him, he looked at me and he said, where are you from? I said, sir, I'm from GS Medical College, Bombay. And his first reaction was, if you're from GSMC, why have you come here? And it was this wow moment for me that yes, my college is still the best wherever we go. And yeah, so.
Hey, can I share a memory?
Yes, Max.
So this is not, it's the, remember when we were doing anatomy, there was some test. Was it Shirodkar's? What was it? It was like it was like an advanced.
Shirodkar's. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was a very advanced.
Scholarship. It was scholarship exam.
Yeah. Right.
Shirwalkar.
That's right. I can't even remember the name. Yes, and yeah. So I remember everybody was doing it. At least, like all the people. I think all my friends were doing it, and I was like, okay, I should do it too. I had no sense of what it entailed in terms of the intensity of how prepared you need to be. And I remember distinctly not knowing how to use. Like, I was asked to hold a liver in a position that's in the human body, and I was so unprepared that I think I put it, instead of putting it this way, I put it this way. And the great thing is, I bet I don't remember which teacher was doing my Viva at that time, but I bet that person was wondering, how did she come to this, not even knowing how to place the liver? I mean, that's a basic question. But the good news is that person was kind enough to me where it did not crush my confidence. Because me going totally unprepared, I came out of that experience not feeling shattered, but probably a little motivated to do better. So yeah, it was comical. I still have that image of the liver. I didn't get any nightmares about it either afterwards.
You were always sparking with confidence, Bhakti. Seriously.
I don't want to take the time more, but I wanted to add something about that micturition thing that Sharang mentioned about holding it. And I'm not going to name the name of the person, but this is the most hilarious memory I have. Histology vivas. And the professor is asking on the slides is the bladder. And the person that's answering is saying, okay, this is the cells and these are the urinary bladder, and say, what is the function or something? And the person said to reabsorb the urine when there is dehydration. And the doctor was like, body doesn't work like this. And it was so calmly that person said, when this person came out, we had such a laugh. Oh my gosh, all till this day, I remember that, like you said, didn't crush her. Like, what the heck, you don't even know this much. They were very calm and like, body doesn't work like that. Like, yeah, so we had some very great professors.
Priyanka, I think you'll remember some of those vivas that we had in ANAT. So when Dr. Natarajan used to take the vivas, not the final viva, but I think first and second, the whole batch was allowed to sit so that you learn from each other's mistakes and basically get entertained. I think more than that, because sir would never say that you're wrong. If you say this is the femur bone, he'll say, oh, 50% right, because it's a bone, it's not the femur. And it could be the humerus for all you know, it could be the pelvis. And
yeah, that's true.
So I remember that sir was talking about a muscle which is attached here, and so he wanted orbicularis oris, but that person kept on saying orbicularis oculi, every possible muscle, but he just could not get oris. And sir wanted him to come to oris. Priyanka, you remember this? Sujata, so he said, okay. So he kept giving clues. Okay, so he said there are 3 parts to the pharynx. Can you name them? So that person said, so laryngopharynx, nasopharynx. Very good, very good. And what is the other one? So he's thinking, and then he just couldn't get oropharynx. Okay, and sir kept on giving more and more clues. So finally, he said, okay, it's a 4-letter word. Okay, it's what is the cavity behind our teeth called? This chap could not get oral. Okay, I'll give you one more clue. The first letter of this is also a number. And by the time we were all like dying, 0 and O did not come. So, the extent that sir would go to convince the student that he knows and to basically find an excuse and pass us.
Sir, I wanted to say one thing to sir, that can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
So, sir, the way you explained the peritoneal cavity to us, and you know how without even a single diagram, you used to say that it's coming, it's like on the diaphragm, and then it comes and it forms this falciform ligament and all that. Now, after we sort of started operating, I mean, that time maybe we didn't realize that you've taught it so well. We were like so zonked in all the lectures that maybe we didn't even know where what was. But, you know, now we feel that, wow, you taught it so well to us that, you know, really everything is one thing. It's in a continuity, and it was really good. Like we really remember all those classes once when we were studying for our, you know, main exam.
That was nothing great about it because, hello, I'm sorry for interrupting. See, I didn't feel anything great about it because I have gone through MS General Surgery and operated so many of me.
But sir, there was
nobody
who taught it. They didn't teach it that way. So it was really good.
It's special experience counts. That's where, so ideally anatomy should be a person with a surgical background. Then of any particular surgical background, it helps, certainly. And of course, you should like the subject. That's also of equal importance. And ultimately, everything is mutual. It can't be one-sided. So the students also have to be bright enough to get there.
Maybe we were not. We were not.
No,
not bright.
No, you are being too modest. Sir, you are being too modest.
No, GS stands for Genius Scholars, apart from girl students. And Guru Sishya Parampara.
So first class, so randomly, because rooms were allotted, our first anatomy demonstration, we saw M. Natarajan written there, we went and sat there. And that man must have randomly, like, sab jagah pe put tray of organs, bones, and this and that demonstration mein hoga. And sir came, and sir, I mean, I'm sure he still does it the same way, Gauri Sontake and all. I don't know if you all have had so you wouldn't have taught them, no? So, I don't know. So anyway, sir came.
Okay. Okay.
So sir came and looked at it, and sir has this thing of leaving everything to your imagination. He will demonstrate with his hand movements, and he'll make you imagine how the organs are inside. So to him, he came and he started staring at that tray, and he said, "Who put this here?" He said, "We don't know. Who got these organs here? Who got these bones here?" And we were all quiet. He called that man. He said, "First, to take everything away." And then we were actually wondering how is he going to teach. But after that, we realized that we never needed a single diagram. We never needed a single bone. And Priyanka's right. I think abdomen was the toughest. At least we had felt it was the toughest part. But the way the peritoneum goes was really entwined. But Smriti is here and Dushyant is here. Both are very close to the campus. Smriti, why don't you tell us how about KEM then and now? You've seen it grow. You're one of the lucky few. I must admit this, but my dream was to just grow up and be part of KEM and, spend my entire life there. And I think it's just destiny. You are destined to live the life which I had dreamed of because entrance exam happened and I went to Delhi, and after that I did come back. I did try to join MICU. And I didn't get absorbed as a lecturer there, and but you are living that brilliant life. So tell us how it is.
I have a bad throat, but I'll try and speak something because, as you said, I have literally grown with the institute, and it really is an honor. As she says now, it's never imagined. I think so. It was destined to happen like this. And when I first came in '95, I think so, I was much more lost because I was from a small city. Coming to and adjusting to the city itself was a challenge. Then to this renowned institute, which has its big legacy, I had never imagined that I'll be a part of the faculty of this one day. And every single day, I think so, it would be wrong to say that I have not thanked God enough for that. Not a single day goes without its challenges. It keeps you on the toes. You meet your own, it's such an honor to be standing in that MLT where for the first time MLK had, when he spoke, he only spoke. Nobody can even imagine that I would be probably, I'm nothing in front of that person, but then in just being in that air of that MLT, still gives me goosebumps. So when Shruti says that, it's definitely it's something which was probably destined. I never planned it, but I've not regretted at all. And
no, we envy you. We envy you in many ways.
So I must say, and recently I met Dr. Natarajan very close down. I have my new house, which is closer to. Sir has got his new house there. So it was again a very, pleasant surprise that Dr. Natarajan was sitting there next. And because of that, I was really, again felt very honored. And sir, as usual, remembered everybody by names and all those things. It's very nostalgic at times.
Everything is always mutual. It's not unilateral. Okay. It's equally good that I have a person, my student also staying in the vicinity.
I never imagined.
Now it's
a small world, as they say.
Now it's reverse dependence. You are teachers, we are students. Okay. Yeah, Guru Sishya. The moment Sishya becomes Guru, the job of Guru is done. And Guru has to now.
I hope, sir. I really hope so that, each one of us has probably, even if we have 1% of what you taught to us on that day in the first year, have been able to, become even a little bit of what you are. I think so. You have done it.
You all are certainly carrying
I still
forward.
Feel that.
You are all carrying forward the legacy across the globe. Okay, what more do we require?
So
Okay.
as Shruti says, now we've been lucky, sir, to have such great stalwarts as people who have shaped up our early education days. You know, those were the molding days, I think. So if those would have gone wrong, I am sure we would not be what we are today. So we were lucky to have those teachers like you who gave us the right path. I see the new generation of students and how their things are very misplaced, that those priorities are so misplaced, and it really hurts. So touch wood that we were not amongst those, and I'm sure everybody would echo that emotion. I think so. I'll stop on that, and maybe Dushyant would like to say
if I can add
something.
something here, thanks to this reunion, subject to all of us having time. Okay, like from 1946 batch, Dr. R.S. Satoskar onwards, down to the 2023 batch, the 100th batch, which is going to join in. Every batch is being given one time the Saturday. Okay, so in case we can go through all this at our convenience on YouTube, okay, it will be a grand experience in itself. See, Dr. Satoskar and all of them have been teachers for us. Also, Dr. Manu Kothari, Dr. Lopa Mehta. Okay, they're all from different backgrounds. Practically most of the batches we are now, about 50 batches, have already fixed up the dates. And as this event is on 1965 batch, has fixed up a date also. So, okay, and this is only MBBS batches, right till end December 24. Okay, and you are the fourth batch now today in sequence. Having in between there was some little 2 or 3 days gap in between, but okay. I'm glad Shruti was wondering how many will join in. There are only 2 who had confirmed as of yesterday. I said, no, be confident. And what happens is you cannot commit. See, because all of us would like to live up to our word. You commit and then you're not there. It's better not to commit and then be there. Okay.
Dushyant.
Yeah. So, hi, Shruti. Thanks for giving me a chance. So, let me say this thing first, that I'm a very extended GSite. I did my MBBS. Then I never dreamt of it, but I ended up doing my MS and MCH plastic also from KEM. And now I work at Tata and from my office, I can actually see a panoramic view of KEM. So it's like every day I'm reminded of my GS roots. And for all the teaching and all, I think there's just one thing which I have carried and often use it in my presentation still, is that you are not here to worship what is known, but to question it. And I actually found the original quote, which was, I forgot the person's name. The first sentence of it is that all students need to have a bit of ragamuffin about them. They are here not to worship what is known, but to question it. So it's a pleasure, it's an honor to connect with everyone. Thank you.
Dushyant, I'm sure everybody knows this at Tata, but I should say that Dushyant does some brilliant work, and he's got a very lovely humane side to him. I've sent patients to Tata who have actually not even needed his intervention directly. He's just introduced them, but they've come back with so much praise about how sensitively he's handled it. So it's really lovely, and it's like this whole lattice of GSites that we have spread.
There's so many of them, and you're at Tata too.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, Charutta is our other faculty who is still with BMC and professor and head of department. Charutta, would you like to say something? You always have something interesting to say.
Hi. Today I don't have anything interesting to say, but but yes, I did. I would never ever have imagined working in the BMC, and nobody who knew me would either have imagined me working in the BMC. But here I am after so many years, and I was actually lucky. It was by chance that I went to, after my MS, I went to apply for a senior registrar post, because I thought, okay, let me get some experience. And I went to apply for the senior registrar post, and the application date was just, I missed it by a day. And the fellow there told me that go to Nair and fill the form for assistant professor, lecturer. And then when I went there, they said, okay, lecturer, you are not eligible because you have not done senior registrar post. But I had worked elsewhere for a year for some time. And so I had some experience. So I said, just let me fill the form. Just take my form, then we will see. And I thought that, I just thought I will work there for 6 months and then I will leave and do something else. And then I went there and I started working, and I did not have a single day to think of other things because, it was like drowning at that time in the ophthalm OPD. There were less people. And then one day after a few years, I got an order that now next day you are going to Cooper. And you know how scary Cooper was. I mean, there was nothing. It was a peripheral hospital. They wanted to convert it into a medical college. And they shifted me because it was a minor subject. So they only wanted one lecturer. So I was the sole faculty there to start the medical college ophthalm department. And I said, okay, I've got this job, so let me do it for a while and then I will leave, because I don't want to go to Cooper. What is Cooper? I can't leave I can't leave KEM and go to Cooper of all places. So then I said, okay, I'll work for 6 months. I'll help them do this and then I'll leave. And then after, and I'm still there. So, it's been a very interesting, for those who know me almost daily here, it's been a very interesting ride. But I would say that there are some, I have some experience in what's different, like as Smriti said, that there are something like there's mentorship which has started in all medical colleges. There's a foundation course for which concerns itself with the students' well-being, self-care, humanities, and ethics. There are separate research methodology and research workshops and clubs started by the medical students. At least the Cooper medical students, the students have started a research methodology and to help the other medical students do research. I totally could relate to what Samir said, is that we just have no experience beyond studying for our basic subjects as medical students, and many times all these other things which are needed to excel in globally are not taught or not given the importance, and that is slowly changing. I mean, it hasn't changed completely yet, but very slowly it is changing, and I hope to see more and more of that. Trying to in Cooper, everything was difficult to try to start anything, like even get some play area, some playground, some some rackets. But it is changing for the better. And with Smriti's thing, I do agree that the students are really different. They are sometimes not at all interested in what the hospital has to offer, and they really, because there will be some PG entrance exam, so they really do not know what they are missing by not coming to the hospital and attend. Like we used to be all the time, morning to night, in the wards trying to learn something, all the time, but they just don't want to, because they think they have to give some multiple choice exams and to get their PGC. So that really is missing, and teachers try hard, but it's difficult. But having said that, it's a really very enriching experience to work in a municipal hospital, because all aspects of the things that we love are there. Like, you can teach, you can you see all sorts of patients, you can do anything. Honestly, you can really develop everything. It's just a little thankless sometimes. But one more memory I have is that I came to KM in the second MBBS. And by then, everybody knew everybody, all the groups were formed. And, I was really scared. I was, I used to keep to myself, keep quiet. And somehow, I don't know how, and I thought I would do really badly. I would fail, because I had come from some college where there was not much teaching. And I was among the 40 students who passed there. And I got the chance to come back to Bombay. And I was like, I don't know anything. And, these people are so smart. And I was just taken in, and everybody, I would just study with them and automatically absorb everything and just started doing well. So I just think it was something that totally changed my life at that point, to be able to work with all of you people, and then, the teachers, and then come out of that. I did not realize it at that point, but now I do. So it was, KEM is a very important.
No, are you remotely giving any credit to us, because we have this on record?
No, I just gave you credit.
Charuta, do you remember that do you remember that I tried to rag you because you joined in the second year?
It's a very interesting experience. Junior just because senior just because she's in KEM 1 year before me, and she said, "Okay, now that you have joined, we have to rag you." And I was like, and I was ragged very badly in my first MBBS elsewhere, and I was like, "I'm done with this," and I was like, "Okay, I don't want to talk to you. I'm leaving." And that's how I was like, "I don't like this person at all." And that was my very early memory of Shruti. So that's what it is.
There are a lot of
If I
people
can add some,
we had that impression about Shruti.
if I can add something, based on what Charuta said, though since you came in second year, of course, even first year's my memory is gone right now. But
No.
85 was the year when Cooper Medical College was to start, and that's how there were additional students admitted. Okay, and then but didn't start, and therefore people were absorbed over a few years, for 2-3 years. The number went up from 160 number of students in a batch up to 200, if I'm not mistaken, 180 or 200. Okay, and after 30 years, 2015, actually the college started, Cooper. Okay, so I thought it was okay. Yours is 1995. Sorry. Okay. I mistook with 1985 again. Pardon me for my rough equation there. Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, because I was not in the first MBBS, I do not have the experiences with the first MBBS teachers. Though I did meet them, but there was no real, like, those memories I missed for sure, sir.
Charuta started off saying, "I don't have anything interesting to say."
I mean, I was not prepared. I did not volunteer, but Shruti has volunteered.
Actually, it's always the way she speaks which makes things interesting.
Thank you.
Smita?
I'm glad Sir thought we were 1985 batch. So we look really younger than what we are, huh?
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
You still look the same. And sir, when Priyanka was sharing about the peritoneal cavity, I was just getting ready for the clinic. But just 2 days back, one of my uncle is not keeping well. He has got diagnosed with CA pancreas. And I was explaining my daughter the peritoneal cavity, the abdominal cavity and all. And exactly I could remember everything. So my daughter was like, "You still remember what was taught to you in 1995? I said, "Natarajan sir used to teach it with so much of passion. I think none of us who have studied with him will forget anything." I think Roshni, Priyanka, everybody will agree. I mean, all the class, because it used to be the lecture. But our batch was fortunate enough to be the first. Like, sir, I'm from a non-medical background. So it was totally a new thing of medicine and all. But your first anatomy lecture, and it felt like, okay, the human body, you can understand the human body. That fear which was there, how we will learn about things. And then, of course, in Viva, I also have one of the memory. There was some alimentary canal part only, and I could not remember exactly. So you said, okay, you just tell me how the word alimentary canal is derived. So that memory is always there. If any word you cannot understand, I tell my daughter, you try to, understand each of it, what it can be, and that is how the word is derived. And our sir used to do that. So that is one memory about you. Of course, with KM, the first day I met Sujata at the time of counseling the admission. She was there sitting next to me. And so many years down the line, we are still together. We are like a family, we know each other almost, even though we don't speak daily. But yeah, we are there together. And I think every one of us, each one of us is still in contact because of our WhatsApp group. And we are helping each other, like Smrati, Dushan. These people, even if I have to refer anybody to KM for any help, any poor person who cannot manage, it is always there, okay, my people are there. Even though I am not practicing there, somebody who is mine, who can take that responsibility is there. So that is what KM gave us, sir. Even after so many years, we still feel we belong there. Even though we are not working there, but we feel it is our thing and we are there. Somebody is there who can help us out. And of course, this is a very, I mean, I am very fortunate, like Charuta said she didn't join us from the first MBBS, but I think even if she has joined later on, or we have joined and we have not been a part of BMC now because we are into our private practice, but still we are somewhere deeply associated with KM. So that is what our teachers gave us, that feeling that we are still there. And sir, this curtain raiser that we started is of course a very nice thing. I know for everyone it is not possible, but it felt so good. I think now I am feeling I'm still that 1995 ka Smita, even though my hairs have grown long. Now I don't have that boycott which I used to have. But that age which has gone in between, you forget about all that. My daughter, sir, she is aspiring to become a doctor. And when I tell her, okay, I don't know where you will get the seat depending upon your marks, but you should serve in KM at least for a year to know how the things are. You have to treat patient with all your heart, but which is as many of them who are there in the institute now into teaching part say nowadays the students don't have this attitude. They are just into gaining marks, gaining the PG seat because they have all these entrance exams and all, which I see with my daughter also. But I feel, that should not be there. You should work in a BMC hospital, especially in Mumbai, where so many people who cannot afford treatment are treated with all the skill and all the, dedication. I think doctors like Smruti, Dushyant, Akash, who are still there, Charuta, who are still associated with BMC, are doing a great job. And what more? Okay, something else, if I remember, I will tell. But sir, it is very nice to see you.
No, in fact, thanks to what you said, KEM we can expand also has keen every moment.
Yeah.
Keen KEM, I supposed to have keen, which is just by the side. Okay, that's aside. Okay.
True, sir. True.
We have with us our correspondent from London, GBC Gauri Sankhe. I'm sure you have more news about the batch than anybody else. We can't have a reunion without inputs from you. Gauri?
She says she can't talk. She's on call.
Okay, fine.
I'll add something.
Yeah.
Sorry. Should I speak or Aparna is going first?
No, you go. I was just trying to nudge the people who are in a different time zone. Please don't rush.
Okay. All right. Hi, sir. It's so good to see you. I don't know if you remember me. It's hard after so many years.
Yeah, and then it's fine. Recall. Yeah.
So I want to say that, for me, KEM was a blast. All my closest friends are from KEM and medical school, and we're still lucky to be in touch. And after that, I think life disperses you out, and you don't. I have not been able to make such deep friendships after leaving medical school. That was the last time I was able to make deep friendships, and so I hold on to that very dearly now. I would say that in third MBBS, the subject that we had called PSM, Preventive and Social Medicine, which culturally we all thought we're supposed to run away from that subject. It wasn't cool. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't important. It was not impactful because we wanted to operate and we wanted to prescribe, and who wants to get into prevention and social stuff? And I have to say that right now, the work I do every day is very much a lot to do with prevention and social aspects of healthcare. So life turns around, and I think this is to connect to what Samir said in the beginning is, career counseling for the young MBBS student who's about to come out. But I think maybe even at the end of first year, at the end of second year, at the end of third year, and maybe we can become, access points. Like I've seen what's happening in, where Shruti's kids go to school in BIS. They have such a strong alumni network that internships at existing alumni workplaces is a very, very strong thing. And it is like a family. And if KEM, since it has such a strong sense of family, it makes sense that our younger students, our juniors who will be the doctors of tomorrow, why don't they lean on us for our gray hair, for whatever it's worth? Maybe we've made some mistakes, maybe we've had some late realizations, but I'm sure that everybody who's joined this call, taken out time from their lives to be here for more than an hour now, we value what we got from KEM, and we would want to give back and helping the next generation who's in our shoes, what, they're 20 years younger than us. Am I doing the math right? 30 years younger than us. 30 years younger than us. And why would we not want to be of use to them, to help them figure this out? Because career
I think
counseling is actually something they need.
That's a lovely idea, Roshni. And you know what, when you mentioned that about BIS, one of the other things that BIS does is BIS talks, which Ashna will attend sometime. So we get 3 alumni to talk about their area of their professional expertise. Now, I know we're a medical school, but like you're doing such an important aspect of preventive care and lifestyle changes to manage chronic diseases. So, maybe having guest lectures as part of Zoom series also would be a good way forward. In fact, when Sameer was talking about those changes and Charuta was, I think a very important aspect which is still not covered in medical education is called health of your wealth. Okay. We don't know what to do with the money we make. We don't know how to invest it. And which is why, there is a rise and a fall, and we don't have a concept of saving, investing. It's something that we learn much later in life. And sometimes we don't learn. A lot of us lean on the male members of our family to do it. So I think, yes, maybe these areas should be looked upon, but I think it's a really good idea. My husband is suggesting martial arts also.
How about this? Yes.
So I have my family giving inputs. That's why I have to keep putting myself on mute.
Shruti, I totally agree with you about the, excuse me, about the wellness for, health related, wealth related health. At the Baylor College of Medicine, where I work now, the medical students in their first year, so they have no sense of finance other than the loan that they have incurred. But even though they don't understand anything, they entirely have a session dedicated. Somebody from the banking industry, investment banking comes, shows them, tells them all the ways to, how to monitor your wealth, invest, things like that. So I think it starts the seeds of your thought process, which I think is very important. So I think you raise a very good point. And the other thing I'm not sure if this is already a part of teaching over there or not, but I think things related to medical informatics and artificial intelligence, I think that should be something, because I see that, Indians have a super brain when it comes to technology and integrating it with anything. And, most doctors in the United States come from India. And I see that path is going to be over the next decade. And I think if we can somehow, like, I am not in it, but I can see the use of that in primary care, where I serve in an underserved area, just like KEM. So that's where I work. And I think along the way, that will be an integral part of the future generation. And the ones that are here today, they will be practicing in an environment where AI and all will be part of their life. And so if our medical school, KEM, can help start that conversation, introduce that mental part that, okay, this is something that you should also learn or know more about. KEM kids are so smart, they will go and find information themselves too, if they are introduced to that topic, rather than waiting 5 years, graduating, coming out, going somewhere else, and then finding that introduction. So I think those are the two things, the wealth related and, artificial intelligence. I think we should really focus on that.
If I can add here, just a minute. We have a WhatsApp community with multiple subgroups catering to various facets of life. Like there is a group called GOSUCOM, where commerce people can interact, all those are interested. And there's Gosu Arts, where people interested in arts can focus on, and so forth. Okay. So maybe the such sort of interactions promoted. Okay, but certainly widen the scope of Gosumec.
Aparna, nice to have you raise your hand. What time is it for you?
It is 6:40 a.m. So I want to actually thank Manisha for her text on another WhatsApp group, reminding me of this call. And it's such a pleasure to see everybody, hear everybody. And Dr. Natarajan, I still had such wonderful memories of what I have learned from you, not just in anatomy, but skills to be a teacher like you. And I totally agree with a lot of things people have said about the friendships that we have made. And even as I'm looking at all of you and hearing all of you, I feel like we're back in KEM. Smriti, it's so nice to see you on this call. We've had such good times together, and some of my closest friends are also from my KEM days. So it's fantastic. I'm so glad for this opportunity. Thanks for organizing it. I also agree very much with the fact that as doctors, we need to be educated in so much more than the anatomy, physiology, and all the other clinical sciences. My husband is, in addition to being a physician, he is also a financial planner, and he's kind of made it his second job to teach physicians about finance, because we come out of residency and suddenly start making more money than we know what to do with, and tend to become victims of many scams that are out there. And my area that I love to teach is leadership training. So it's really it's great that as I heard Charita speak about wellness and self-care, these are things that we did not have the opportunity to learn much about and kind of have had to learn along the way. So it's heartwarming to hear that we are including it in the curriculum. So it's great work. And if there is any forward movement on creating guest lectures and training in other aspects of being in healthcare, I would love to be a part of it. So thank you for the opportunity. And Dr. Natarajan, so nice to see you again. You have made a great impact on me. You have made a great impact on my knowledge of anatomy. I grew to love anatomy under your tutelage. So thank you again.
And I second what Smriti said. It's so lovely, Aparna, to hear your voice after so much time. And thank you for joining in. I wish we would have seen a glimpse of you also, but I know it's too early. Sorry. Vidhi is from, you're joining in from Pune, aren't you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hello. Hi, everyone. It's so great to see you, and so many nice memories. And one thing I said, and it is such an honor to be a part of GS. So whenever we are asked in any, even if you are accompanying a relative to a doctor's cabin, or if you are a patient yourself, you get asked, where are you from? And then when you say GS and Nair, so there is an entire different feeling of such brotherhood comes in immediately, and you feel so safe in the hands of, you feel so safe keeping yourself, your relative, in the hands of these brothers and sisters who are seeing them. So that was from the other side as a patient or a patient's relative. And of course, so many memories. I think a lot of memories are with around the first year. So I remember that I think one of the I think it was a Viva where the model of the eye was there, and I thought I'll be asked about all the muscles of accommodation and all the details of how they work, and I was preparing myself mentally on all that. And then Dr. Natarajan asked, can you tell me the spelling of accommodation? And then it gave the spelling. So it's double C and double M. So he asked, are you sure? So a little less confidently, but yes, sir, sure. Positive? Okay, yes, sir, positive. And then the final thing, will you write and sign? So I think that was the final thing which gets you scratching your head. And am I am I positive enough to write and sign? Oh, that's a thought. And then related to names, one thing that Dr. M.L.K. used to call me epistema, which is supposed to be epistema is the Saraswati, or the goddess of learning. So he would say, "How are you, epistema?" And then I think after around the 5th year after passing out, there was a reunion, and then it was so nice again. "Oh, epistema, you're here." It made me feel so much at home again. So these are some lovely memories which we have. And Dr. Shyam Kishore, I think in the 3rd year, he used to take these lectures, and then the neurology clinics and all of those are so confusing. And then when Dr. Shyam Kishore explained it so simplistically, all the neuronal tracks, they just start flowing so nicely in your head. And I think it was a great experience, and thanks so much that we were there to share all these experiences.
Epistemology is a study of words and trying to refine oneself.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Vidya. I think Manisha would like to speak next. And I'm just intrigued how nobody's brought up Shirvalkar's rhinoplasty yet.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you, especially, a lot of faces that I haven't seen in a long time because I wasn't able to attend the reunion. So many memories. I don't even know where to start. I just happened to finish my dog walk, and that's why I just decided to sit and talk. I honestly do not remember much of the academics at all. To be honest, I don't think I struggled with academics for a very long time till I grew much older in my 20s and it became a breeze. But it's just all the fun that we had, the ladies' common room, the life in the hostel, with an internship. I think internship year was my favorite. Just having to know a new set of people, because we were always grouped into these batches that we kind of, had throughout the 1st, 2nd, 3rd year. But during internship, it was just a pleasure to get to know Siddharth and Dhruv and Manoranjan and Kiran, people I really never spoke to. But it was just a pleasure knowing everybody and understanding that, everybody's right, and everybody, comes from a different perspective, and just we all have to be a little bit more accepting. So I think my internship year really set the stage for, and it was tough at KM. It was busy. It used to be long nights, but it just set up a lot of work ethic, continuing into my practice days. And Shruti, and coming back to PSM days, yes, I am now a public health practitioner. I did clinical medicine for 10 years, and then went back to get my MPH in public health. So I am a public health practitioner, and I want to continue to study disparities in medicine utilization and care. So yes, and I really wish, I think, we had that career counseling to begin with. That clinical medicine and operative medicine is not what everybody needs to do. There are a lot of other things in medicine and healthcare delivery that need help. So I'm glad to be here. Nice seeing every one of you. Hopefully we will meet in person sometime soon.
Okay, so talking of PSM, I don't know if there's somebody else who wants to talk, please. I don't want to pinpoint you all because I know many of you all had said we'll be in read-only mode. So I have a really fun memory to bring up. And I think Sharang was in my batch. He will definitely remember this. So we were supposed to do a preventive and social medicine play. And I told this story to my daughters recently because there was something about how strict they are about play practice in school. And if you miss one session, you'll be thrown out and stuff like that. So I told them we had a random public awareness play to do. And every day post lunch, we would stop the OPD and just practice for that play. And at one point of time, we became so serious about it that we said those who are not coming for play practice will get thrown out of the play. And it wasn't me alone. Okay, this is everybody's consensus. But Sharang, are you there? Yeah, he's there. Okay, so the story was that Sharang is Ramlal. And Priyanka thinks his veganism is embedded in this play, by the way. But anyways, so Ramlal's wife has a baby. And after that, Ramlal goes to buy a cow. And people stop him and say, Ramlal, where are you going? So he's saying, अरे घर में नया बच्चा पैदा हुआ है, मैं उसके लिए गाय लेके जा रहा हूँ, बच्चे के दूध के लिए. So then, and he meets a doctor. So basically the doctor then educates him about the importance of breast milk and stuff like that. And he says, Ki Ramlal, and then that's like a health message. And then he says, Ramlal, aayi baat samajh mein. Charang like scratches his head. He says, Ramlal, kuch aayi baat samajh mein. And Charang scratches him and says, like, looks a little puzzled. And then the cow gets up and says, Iske samajh mein nahi aayi, lekin mere samajh mein aa gayi. इसका यानी इसकी बीवी का दूध इसके बच्चे के लिए और मेरा दूध मेरे बच्चे के लिए, and kicks Ramlal and runs away. So the most coveted role in this was of the cow, and the back of the cow was the most coveted, which was Chetan Vasekar. Now Chetan Vasekar didn't come Monday and he told him, you're chucked out. And Chetan said, I am the back pichwara of the cow. Like, what are you chucking me out for? But when we had the play, there was an argument whether the cow will kick from the front or from the back, because both wanted to kick Sharon. Do you remember this? So on the way back, I was telling Pritha and Nandini, and then Priyanka had not heard this story. So Priyanka sun ke na, she told me, ye sab sun ke hi usko sadwa pada hoga hai, isliye wo itna cruelty free ho gaya hai. So for those of you who don't know, Sharang has turned vegan in the last few years, many years, and both his kids are vegan too, proudly. And he also tells us that he's fitter than ever before, which we've all witnessed, definitely.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and Vidya again, I just wanted to add one thing, a slightly somber memory in the middle of all of these fun anecdotes which we're sharing. When we are talking about introducing wealth and bioinformatics, I think we should also talk about including mental health. I'm a psychiatrist, basically. So especially when I remember that we have lost a few of our batchmates, two of our batchmates to suicide. I think mental health or self-care for doctors should be very much a part of the curriculum when it is taught. And I think the need is much more now than it was 25, 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
I think Gauri Sankhe has come in, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, now there's no escape, sir has called you.
No, because I have put something on the screen. Okay. Anyways, 7 o'clock was the finishing time, and now it's 7:30. So I think we should start winding up, because our batch went on till 7:50, 7:50. Okay.
So you don't want us to
then,
beat your record, sir?
No. Meaning we are supposed to close at 7. Okay, technically. And this is being funded by Medical Humanities, so I don't know how much financial encumbrances will come up in this context. Nevertheless, okay, this was just an advance reminder. Because last 5 minutes, there's going to be another video to be played by Medical Humanities team.
There's also Dr. Abhay Dalvi who's joined. So if there's something you'd like to add, we would love to hear you again. And Anirudh, I don't need to ping you, but it would be lovely to hear you too. Is that Shweta Savarkar, Shweta's iPhone?
No, it's just her phone.
It's always been like that.
She's in hiding, it's just her phone.
And Pallavi Marghade is one of our Pallavis, Lande or
Lande.
Yes, Bolo Lande. You still have the same long and beautiful hair? Monica has also joined. Monica was an examiner today. So
I don't know if she's done with her exam or she's a silent spectator.
Yeah, hi Shruti and hi everyone and hi sirs. It's been great. Actually, I just got done a while ago, so I logged in a few minutes ago, and I'm just happy I was able to catch up with all of you. I don't want to say much. I'm an oncologist, a radiation oncologist. I work in Hyderabad. And yeah, very fond memories of KEM, and I think the kind of the formative years and the molding and the teaching, the learning that we have received from there, it's taking us through life, and it is helping us to still grow and become better and better. So great catching up with all of you.
Monica looks just the same that she did in her 1995 photo.
Yeah, we have some silvers. And
Monica, you must be the kindest examiner ever, no?
Okay, I mean, that is a question you need to ask the candidates. But yeah, I think you can be kind as a person, as an examiner, as a doctor, as everything. I think kindness is what is still holding the world and go around. So
Shruti, can I just share my screen for a minute? Is that possible here?
Yes,
I think yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just, since we are on the topic, this is what I found. Can you see it? Is it being seen?
Yes, yes.
Wow, Sharang, you're brilliant.
That's the
You're
skit.
treasure trove.
That's the skit.
That's our first
And
type.
that's the best.
Money we got for polio. That's the best. Chetan, this is Chetan. And Ramlal.
Yeah.
Shruti,
Amazing, Sharang.
can you hear me, guys?
Hi, Pallavi. Yeah.
Hi. I heard Shruti saying something about hair, so I just assumed it was about me. She was trying to ask something, but then I had to cut the call. I'm on call today.
Yes, we were talking. We were wondering if you still have the same long and beautiful hair that you had in college.
No, I had to chop them for many reasons. I've donated my hair twice to the Cancer Foundation. So yeah, that's how they've become shoulder length. Yeah, I'm on call today. So I'm a consultant anesthetist working at the Mid and South Essex NHS Foundation Trust in Essex. And yeah, what can I say about this KM days? They have been wonderful. I still feel I am there in the batch, the first day of our, when we entered the med school. It just feels like that day. So yeah, gratitude to all the teachers and love to all the batchmates. Lovely reconnecting with all of you. So I need to go there. The surgeons are now after looking out. Okay, then. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I'll log out. Thank you. Bye.
If all of them have spoken, then Smriti, you can pass back on to Gauri Sontake.
Yeah. Sure.
If everyone is
Gauri?
done.
So which Gauri, yours or ours?
Sontake.
No, both. In case if all of your batchmates have spoken and nothing more is there, then Gauri Sontake can take over. The way she handed over to you right at the start.
Hello. So I will be taking over.
Okay, Muskan. Fine. Okay. Right. So once Shruti gives the green signal, Muskan can take over to finish wind up the day's activity.
So there's Gajanan, and he says he prefer to just listen today.
Okay, fine.
Shweta Savalka, in case you want to talk, speak up now and then keep your silence. So I think we're done. Anirudh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
let's not compel. Let's not compel.
Yeah, that's fine. Roshni is leaving. Thanks, Rosh.
You started with 2 members, and now we have gone for a 90
Yeah,
minutes.
Shweta's in a
That's
procedure,
great.
so she will also be listening. I think, yeah.
Okay,
Over to you, Muskan.
Yeah, Muskan. So Muskan, you can take over, please. Hello. Muskan, are you there? Hello. Yeah,
Yes,
fine.
I'm there.
Yeah, you can take over.
So I would like the AV team to play the reflection.
Yeah.
Very good evening to you all. It is indeed my pleasure to speak about Reflections on Medical Humanities, annual volume published by Dr. Manu.V.L.Kothari Chair and Division of Medical Humanities, Gosumec Alumni Association, under the patronage of Dr. Sangeeta Rawat, Dean, St. G.S. Medical College and KEM Hospital, Mumbai. The first issue of Reflections was published in the year 2019, the theme being History of Medicine, Looking Back to Improve the Future. The book comprises invited essays, poems, cartoons, quiz, crossword, and articles which were published before in different medical journals on evolution of branches and development of specialties in healthcare, great personalities and inventions in medicine and healthcare overall. The issue for the year 2020 was based on interpersonal relationships in healthcare. Again, invited essays and cartoons on doctor-patient relationship, doctor-doctor relationship, and medical teacher-student relationship were included. For the year 2021, we chose very apt theme of COVID-19, the human angle. Essays and poems in English, Hindi, Marathi, paintings and photographs contributed by teaching and non-teaching staff and students of St. G.S. Medical College and KEM Hospital who shared their experiences both on personal and professional fronts during the pandemic. For the year 2022, Literature and Medicine is the theme. We have essays and poems in English, Hindi and Marathi, paintings and cartoons, and it will be published shortly. Now, for the years 2023 and 24, the proposed theme is Reminiscences, Our Days at St. G.S. Medical College and KEM Hospital. As we move towards the centenary year of our institution, let our fond memories come alive in the form of nostalgic writings about our learnings, not only medicine, but also life lessons that we learned here. Let us talk about our devoted teachers who inculcated values and shaped our lives, priceless friendships which we cherish lifelong. Our writings will instill a feeling of pride and a sense of belonging in all of us, the readers of the book, we as well as the future generations of students will understand the power and beauty of expression and reflections. We will be enlightened about the history and glory of our institutions, past students who have contributed to the welfare of the society and the role model teachers and mentors. We know, irrespective of the generation, we are bound by a common bond of being GSites. However, we also need to accept and adapt to changes which are inevitable following technological advances and societal transformations. At the same time, the students will learn that even though the changes are occurring, the humanitarian values and principles of ethics are unchanging. Hence, we appeal that the reminiscence and nostalgic memories shared on this platform of virtual reunions be expressed in the form of writings to be included in our next issue of Reflections. I, Dr. Swarupa Bhagwat, Editor Reflections and Associate Professor, Department of Transfusion Medicine at this institution, will be privileged to connect with the individual batch coordinators for sharing more details regarding the same. Thank you very much.
The recording can be stopped now in case everything is done. Muskan.
So I would like to give my vote of thanks first.
Yeah, please. Yeah, sorry. Please do that.
We thank Dean Madam Dr. Sangeeta Rawat and Academic Dean Dr. Pathak for support and encouragement. We thank Gosumec Alumni Association for the administrative support for correspondence and financial transactions of Dr. M.V.L.K. Chair of Medical Humanities. We also thank Team MH, Mr. Tushar and Mr. Badal for tech support. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all the enthusiastic batch mates of 1995 batch for their enthusiastic participation. Thank you so much.
Chuck, 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 Mug, Chuck. Who are we?
GSI.
GSI.
Yeah.
GSI.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, and thank
great.
you, Team GS.
Thank you,
for
sir, and thanks,
connecting
Ruti.
us.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Yeah. The recording will stop now shortly. Yeah.